Ilia Topuria is now saying he will not vacate his featherweight title, despite saying he wants to move up to the lightweight division for his next fight. On X, Ilia posted this. He wrote, "I will not leave the title vacant. The decision to move up to the next category is entirely mine. I haven't had any conversations with the UFC yet, so everything is still to be decided. Stop celebrating, because I'm not going anywhere. I have conquered my division, and I will do the same in the next one." It appears Dustin Poirier has a fight in the works. Dustin posted this to X earlier today. He wrote, "There will be blood. See you soon." Bilal Muhammad reacts to Colby Covington telling the MMA guru that he's staying in a mansion in Tampa and not the fighter hotel. He says Colby knows that he will get slapped. Bilal adds that Colby sucks and hopes Joaquin Buckley breaks his jaw and knocks him out cold.
He says, "Oh man, yeah, I'm living in a $2 million mansion because I can't be at the hotel because these guys are." I'm like, "Because you're scared, you're afraid. You can't show your face around any other fighters because you'll get slapped." So he right now, as you've seen him in the media day, trying to just say the most dumbest stuff, right? Trying to get any type of headline because he's a nobody. Nobody cares about him anymore. We realize that he's, like I said, I've been saying it for years, he sucks. And I think that I'm hoping Buckley breaks his jaw. I'm hoping that Buckley puts him out cold. And I think Buckley can't put him out cold. Colby's striking is terrible. His wrestling looked awful his last fight. I think Buckley's athletic enough to defend those takedowns, and if Buckley doesn't get crazy, right? If he doesn't get, he throws a lot of wide hooks that leaves opening for shots underneath. He just can't let Colby push him to the fence. Can't let Colby keep him on the fence and wear him down. In his last fight against Wonderboy, he was getting a little bit tired, but I think that was more so because he was offensive wrestling Wonderboy. He was taking Wonderboy down. Wonderboy would get up. He was trying to hold him down. And you don't really need to hold Colby down. You don't need to shoot on Colby because Colby can't strike. He can't. There's nothing that he's going to be throwing at you that's going to be scary. It's not going to hurt. So just take all of his punches, stand there in the middle, take one, and then give him one and show him that there's levels to striking. I think that Buckley can't finish him, knock him out. We've seen Colby have his jaw broken before by Kamaru, who sucks with striking. So I think Buckley, who has way more power, way better boxing, can't put Colby to sleep. And I'm going with Buckley here.
Cub Swanson fights Billy Quarantillo at UFC Tampa tomorrow. Cub says his split decision loss to Andre Fili back in June hasn't sat right with him, and he's motivated to get a win.
Feels good. I didn't take any damage my last fight, and so yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm getting older. I need to speed these up and start fighting a little quicker. You know, I'm crazy busy. That was kind of the goal, is to be so busy that I couldn't fight anymore. That was kind of my retirement-ish plan, you know, and I'm doing all those things, so I'm on the right track. And like I said, I put so much into the coaching that these are like my fun days. The mark is on my record. It's there. It's set in stone. And you know, that it motivated me to get back in the gym and get ready for this one. I needed one. I was like, it was really, it didn't settle well with me. Part of me, a small part of me, who's more of the bigger human these days, was happy for Fili, because I know that he had been going through some hard stuff personally, and I'm cool with him, you know. So I thought that he did a good job of fighting hard in the circumstances. But me as a competitor was like, oh man, I shouldn't have lost that fight. I didn't sit well, so that's why I was motivated to get in here for this one. The burning sensation needed to give me another fight, give me a win before Christmas so I could spoil my kids and be happy.
Henry Cejudo discusses moving back down to flyweight and fighting Alessandro Pantoja for the belt. Henry is confident that he can make the weight, but says it's all up to Hunter Campbell.
In all seriousness, Harry, seriousness, he's giving you a title shot right now.
No, for sure. But I think this was long. I'm not. If this is recent, like if Pantoja wants to do it, I think it'd be really good. The only guys that I've lost to Kamaru, I've only lost to nothing but champions. I lost to Aljamain Sterling split decision, and then I lost to the current champ, Eberhard Dvalishvili. We're at least one round with the torque growing. So I'd love to send message.
He's offering you a title shot here. Can you get down to 25 and get the title shot?
I will. If Pantoja wants to do this fight, I can shake on it. But like as I told you before, Kamaru, it's up to Hunter, man. If Hunter wants to give me the opportunity, I've asked him for that. I've asked him about to go down to 25. I just don't know if these guys are super serious about me actually doing it. But if they believe me and trusted me, we're able to get the UFC PI. And if Pantoja wants to do it, if he wants to do it in Brazil, I would love to make him bend the knee. And I love the dude, and he's the most kindest soul, and I love him to death, and I'm glad he's champion. But for that championship bout, Pantoja, you will bend the knee to keep Triple C.
Adrian Yanez had a rough year in 2023. In April, he was TKO'd by Rob Font in the first round. Then in October, he was TKO'd by Jonathan Martinez in the second round. Adrian bounced back with a TKO win of his own over Vinicius Salvador this past May. However, he says that wasn't enough for him. He says he plans to beat Daniel Marcos tomorrow at UFC Tampa and prove that he belongs in the top 15 at bantamweight.
Yeah, for me, I kind of went off the road a little bit in my 2023, and that fight right there put my tires back on the road. So for me, it's like, all right, cool. Tires on the road. Now it's time for me to start accelerating, start moving forward. So it was a big win, but I was not satisfied with it. I wanted to continue to stay active and continue to keep fighting, because I know how good I am, and I know like where I belong, and I just had to get fights to prove it. So that's why I really wanted to stay active. I wanted to go out there and keep proving that I deserve to be in the top 15. So with the win over Daniel, man, that puts me right there. I wouldn't even necessarily wasn't even like a big relief. I still am pretty harsh on myself with how 2023 went. I still think about it, because that kind of shaped me into who I am for this year. That was my motivator and my fuel for this year, and I kind of been on a vendetta for myself. Even though that fight was what it was, I still think about 2023 and those two losses back to back, kind of had to sit down and confront it, with having surgery after that Martinez fight. So I was really had to sit down and think about it. So it kind of stays there, and it's just it's what's pushing me to get better, and make sure that I don't get comfortable.
Chael Sonnen believes Sean Strickland will fight better in his upcoming rematch with Dricus du Plessis at UFC 312. Chael thinks that Sean didn't care about the belt when he had it. However, losing it made him care a lot more. On Good Guy, Bad Guy, Chael said, if there has ever been a guy that turns out to be one heck of a lot better than I knew he was, it's Dricus du Plessis. The other side of that coin, Sean Strickland has talked himself up very much and has a high level of confidence because he believes he beat him that first time. He believes he dominated him. That's not what I saw. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure Sean didn't lose all 5 rounds on my scorecard. Very close, real tight, but at the end of it, if you got to go a 10-9, I'm not sure I didn't give them all to Dricus. The only reason I'm saying this is I don't want Sean to necessarily fall for what he is believing. I want him to study this guy. I want him to have a different game plan for this guy. I want him to take Dricus serious. I do believe Sean Strickland, when he was the champion of the world, did not care, or at least that's what he was saying. The moment he lost that belt, boy, that care meter went through the roof, and I do believe that Sean is going to fight better trying to regain something than to defend something. That's my own belief, but that's the fight to make. Winner draws in Khamzat Chimaev. I can drink to that. Michael Johnson fights Atman Azaitar tomorrow at UFC Tampa. Ahead of the fight, he says he wants to prove to himself that he can get back to the top of the lightweight division.
The big theme of the camp is focus. Concentration. Definitely got to stay in the zone. Don't let any outside things distract me too much. That's just been the main point of focus in camp. Just staying straight-minded and the goal at hand. This year's been a little rough for your boy. I gotta lie. I had my fight in February. Then I turned around and was gonna fight again in St. Louis and had the shoulder injury, so I had to get shoulder surgery back in March. So I'm just really thankful and blessed to be able to compete at the end of the year. So it's just been a lot of grinding, a lot of downtime, a lot of self-reflection. But I've made it a point to stay myself and stay true and just ride it out until we get up again. I took away a lot of positive things. I really want to implement my wrestling again, which is something that I've gotten away from in a lot of my MMA fights, and it's just been kind of like a 50-50 shot and get screwed over by judges and whatnot. So I've been really trying to tone it in on solidifying wins, getting good positions, great positions, and looking for finishes, or just getting out here and getting as perfect as possible as I can. But Ottman's a good fighter. He's definitely got a lot of power in his hands. I've seen his skill set. He's got a great record. He comes from a great camp over there. But I'm just a little confused on why this guy fights. Isn't he some Moroccan prince or some
Sean O'Malley gives his take on Merab getting into an altercation in the crowd at UFC 310. Sean says Merab doesn't have control of himself.
Merab posted a video explaining it. That guy kind of grabbed his arm. Merab freaked out.
Started bucking.
And then someone else on Alger's team threw some punches. Merab just can't quite seem how to get out of trouble. It's always
when you're leaving that cage, it's like no matter if you won or you lost, there's people talking right on the sides. Every fight we've been to, there's people talking on the sides.
Merab just doesn't have any control of his little self.
But yeah, he gets fired up pretty easy. It's fired up pretty easy.
Sean Strickland reveals a conversation he had with Johnny Walker at the gym. Sean also hints that Johnny got the better of him in sparring. Sean first posted this photo. He wrote, "I think you may have won this battle." He followed up with this video.
So me and Walker were talking the other day, man. We're both like very grateful for our lives, you know. Like we're in a place we're happy, even not with fighting. We're just thankful for our lives. Anyways, Walker's telling me, Sean, when I was 14, I had to live on a piece of property, and like he was happy about this. It wasn't a bad thing. He was like, I was contracted to work this piece of property with my family till I was 14, then I could leave. And I was like, Johnny, my man, that is called slavery, and it is illegal in America. So it was gonna be American some days, man.
Tom Aspinall had some harsh words for John Jones. In an interview with Piers Morgan, Tom said, "John, let me start by saying John is absolutely elite, and I completely agree with the notion that he's one of the best fighters ever. The way I look at it is, he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time, for me personally. Yeah, it makes him a cheat. Of course it does. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating in my book, unless you're both allowed to do it." Piers then asked Tom if he's ever taken PEDs. Tom continued, "Absolutely not. When I retire, I will absolutely, to keep my body healthy. I think when you fight in MMA, you absolutely shouldn't be using PEDs." Piers then asked if John should even be allowed to fight Tom due to the PEDs. Tom replied, "Yeah. If he's not using them now, yeah. I think so, yeah. Absolutely." And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one says, "Anthony Smith calling himself a gangster is the most non-gangster thing." The second one's in reference to John Jones posting footage of him receiving a photo of Daniel Cormier crying to hang in his house. It says, "John is so fake. In one interview, he's saying he'd have DC over for Thanksgiving because he's a good dad and a good person." And then he posts this, "Plastic champ." And the final one's from One Slim Chance. It says, in quotes, "He's not that good. He's slow. I saw everything coming." Anthony Smith about the guy that beat the shit out of him and make him cover up in the fetal position. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.